Right, so here we are. You can see that I've drafted all of this out now, and I've replaced the head here, and this is what I did. I cut it from this piece of paper, swapped it over, and then got my outline here. So this is almost what it was like when it was new. The only thing that I'm skeptical about here is the damage that was on the pallet at this point, and you can see here, if you can, there's damage here. So the two legs are actually missing, so it's uncertain whether these legs went a little bit further here. I'm going to have to research this a little bit, but that's not so important. I can actually now start working with this and carving it out with chisels. These are my chisels. Now, whenever I've picked these out, someone's asked me how I do this, and I've shown them these, of which there are a few. They've laughed at me. Okay, so this is what it is. It's a steel chisel with a tungsten tip here. Now, in the olden days, of course, they would have used hardened steel, and even in the more olden days, copper chisels, as in ancient Egypt, of which there's plenty of evidence for. But these are the modern variants. I probably will sell a few of these sometime if I can, get those online for you, if anybody wanted to have a go doing this. So they're tungsten tips, and they're very hard. The tungsten is probably the most common thing to use nowadays in various forms of stonemasonry, and I think you can see how sharp that is. Very feathered on both sides, very feathered. Coming to a very sharp point. That's how I use my chisels. Everyone's got a preference. For stonemasonry work, you just use cold steel chisels, but for the finer work on things like this, these are very helpful. Not everybody subscribes to them. I use them. They work. What I have here are a set of sharpening tools, and these come in various grits. You can see this one's an easy lap, and you can see on here what grade it is, and this one says fine, just there. Now, I have 6 of these, 5 of these, I can't count. Anyway, I've got these, and they're various different grades, and you apply water to them and basically sharpen your chisel as so, keeping it very flat. That's the most critical point, is keeping this edge flat. If it's rounded at the sides, you're not going to get a deep, clean cut. So I hope I've explained that well enough for you. Again, if you need to know anything, drop me a line on YouTube, and I can give you further information on those things. As you can see, and as I showed you before, we now have the whole area drafted. It's ready to go, and the first question I get asked always is, where do you start? There is no hard and fast rule of where you start, but given that I've decided to keep this in one piece to make this more steady for me so it doesn't rock, I'm probably going to chisel out the areas where the lion's heads actually snake down to a certain point around here, and I'll begin doing that shortly. Basically what I'm going to be doing with the chisel is guiding around the various surfaces. What I'm doing here is outlining essentially, but with a chisel. No different to when I drafted it in pen. I'm now doing it with chisel, trying to get as close to these lines as absolutely possible, and that is the critical part. If I do not keep to these lines and smooth them out, and let me just add here, the chisel is the finisher. However less accurate these drawings are, it's really important that the chisel is known as the finisher. This, after all, will make the finished piece. This is the finisher, not the pencil. The pencil just gives you a guideline, the chisel finishes it for you. So we'll be doing that, and I'll be going as close to these lines as possible, and then what I'll be doing is taking out the rough, the areas in between the lines. And this, I'm going to try and draw a diagram for you and that's on a side view, so I'm going to actually flatten the stone over and show you what it's like from a side view with the various depths. This looks to be a 2-level bas relief carving. That means that these areas in here, inside the 2 snake entwined areas, are 1 level. Then when I've reached that level, I'll be carving out this lion here and also this antelope. So they're in the next level down, and the most pronounced features are the snaking entwined lion's heads and the circular area, which we believe was used for mixing coloured ochre powders, whatever, for use in rituals. So that's what I'll be doing, and I'll just basically get on with it then. Okay, thank you.